This is the FM Gold channel of All India Radio. In the program News Analysis, now we bring you a discussion on cooperative movement in India. The participants are M.S. Virbi, former advisor, Ministry of Rural Development, and Manish Anand, journalist.
India has a very rich tradition of cooperative movement. In the past, we have seen successful examples of Green Revolution, in which India got self-sufficiency in food grains production. Afterwards, in the late 1960s, we got White Revolution, in which Varghese Kurian played a pioneer role, and he established a National Dairy Development Board, which is known by the Amul brand across the country. Today is also the birth centenary celebration of Lakshman Rao Inamdar. He was a leading player in the cooperative movement in Gujarat and Maharashtra, and he did a lot of pioneering effort in both the states. Today, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had given a speech at Gyan Bhavan in the national capital, where he presented a lot of challenges to those who are engaged in the cooperative movement. He has said that, yes, we have seen success in the milk production, in the food grains production, and in Gujarat we had seen in the knowledge revolution, in which children from KG till class 12 got computer access through cooperative movements. But we need to go into new areas. Sugar, we have seen that in Maharashtra, sugarcane production is largely through cooperative movements only. So, Virdi, how do you see the scope and future of cooperative movement in the country, and what are the new areas that they can enter into and give India economic and social development?
You might be seeing that the cooperative movement in India owes its origin to agriculture and its allied activities. It is a very old age cooperative movement. In the first time, it was recognized in 1904. At that time, it was recognized cooperative movement is a future for India. With the successive period, also Act was made in 1935 and so forth. But after the independence, our leaders have thought about that cooperative movement is the future for India. So they have given much more stress on this cooperative movement in India. Now, our Prime Minister Narendra Modi has inaugurated Inamdar Rao's birth centenary because he has a big contribution in the cooperative movement in India, especially in those two states, Maharashtra and Gujarat. But that contribution is not restricted to two states only, but is throughout India. It is not only that. You might have seen we have a successful examples also. As you have rightly mentioned about Varghese Kurian. In mid-60s, it was recognized. Agriculture is not only the source of income for the rural India, rural people. So, a stress was given that allied activities should also be developed based on agriculture. At that time, as you have rightly mentioned about Amul Dairy. Amul Dairy was nothing but it is a cooperative movement of the farmers who produce milk and they unitedly sell it. Meaning that the middle person who is eating away their margin should go to the farmers. So that is a very successful. Today we are enjoying that efforts. Varghese has done a wonderful job in that. And similarly, in Green Revolution in 1965-66, it also took place in India, in Punjab especially. And we have seen that PL84 has gone because we always depend upon the US and other countries for importing the food grains. Now we are self-sufficient, we are exporting to other countries also. So similarly, in the other fields, allied activities also, in agriculture, sugarcane, onions, all these things are there, and we are having a best cooperative. Now, question arises, when rural people, those who are not having agriculture, and those who are landless laborers, from where they will get the income? Either they will depend upon the agriculture, that is the labor, or they should adopt the allied activities. Now the agriculture had also shrinked. Landholding had also shrinked because of the population explosion. So now the future of this cooperative movement is very bright, but it has to be handled with the care.
It should be handled with care. We are a population of 125 crores and two-thirds of our population is below the age of 35 years. That means a lot of people joining the working age group every year. Government cannot do everything. and the industries will also react on the basis of the demands and the supply mechanism. So therefore, the great scope that is available for the cooperative is to provide meaningful and gainful employment opportunities to the youth from the rural and the semi-urban areas. Mr. Abhirdi, Prime Minister also said that farmers' incomes need to be doubled by 2022, and that is a big task because 65% of our population is also dependent on agriculture. At the same time, we are skilling the youth also in a big number. We are skilling crores of youth every year. So do you think that cooperatives can play some kind of a role in the efforts of skill development and taking out the people from the agriculture so that there could be meaningful employment and economic development of the country as well?
Our GDP from agriculture is coming down, and dependence of population on agriculture is also coming down. So reason being that the income from agriculture is day by day decreasing. What about the other population which is there in the rural areas, that is 70%, 65%, from where they will earn their income? The only scope in the rural areas, either we should mechanize all the things or we should also encourage those people to have their own income, and from which sources. That is more important, because they are not having there any asset. Only education can play a role, or the cooperative and skill development. These are the three areas which can increase the income of the rural folks, those who are not having agriculture land. So assetless people, landless people, and the small and marginal farmers, their income may not be much. So there is a scope for cooperative.
That brings to the challenge that Mr. Prime Minister in fact mentioned today also. Some deformities have also cropped in the cooperative movements, and we have seen that basically in the financial institutions like the chit fund kind of things in West Bengal, Odisha, and sometimes in Bihar also, that the trust in these cooperative institutions have gone down, particularly in the space of finances. And since you have talked about that a big chunk of population is without any asset, without any significant amount of land, so that there is no collateral available to these people who can go to the formal banking system and access loan and do some gainful activities. So how do you think that this void which is in the financial space can be filled?
That is the main point which I was mentioning about that. Those people are not having any resources. They don't earn any money from other sources because they have to send their children for education, they have to sustain also, and they have to do so many other things also. Point is, the financial institutions, given the example of chit fund company, that is in the urban areas it is coming, but in the rural area, cooperative societies and agriculture are working very well, provided there is no corruption. So for irregularities, we have to frame the rules. That has to be compulsory implemented in 2-2. If that thing can be taken out from those, otherwise cooperatives are functioning very well. Say, for example, papad making. In rural area in Tamil Nadu and in Karnataka, this papad making business and masala making business by the women folk of the rural areas has become very successful. Similarly, we have to find out new areas. As for example, Mr. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has mentioned today, nature is very scenic to our cooperatives. So what we can do there, the new areas has to be identified. Now he has given one example. It is a new area. Neem coating to urea means we are controlling the pesticides through neem coating urea so that our crop can go well. Similarly, beekeeping. Beekeeping is nothing but without agricultural land. Even though cooperative societies can do that. And then you can say that sericulture is also there. That can also be developed. And there are so many soaps and other these things. Cooperative is a big thing. True. Which the rural people can make the cooperative and implement it and enhance their income from, even as you have mentioned about computerized and other. Our girls, our children can have a skill development and enhance their income under the cooperative.
Mr. Virdi, you have rightly said and you have brought the issue. In fact, you have hinted that cooperative movement can also give women empowerment. Prime Minister also has mentioned today that with the help of seaweed culture on the coastal areas, he mentioned that fishermen community people, they're doing nothing mostly for 6 months because of weather conditions not favoring fishing in deep sea areas. So women, and they can also engage in seaweed keeping, which the produce can be utilized in the pharmaceutical sector. So similarly, neem coating. So there are new emerging areas in which the cooperatives can get engaged. And the Prime Minister posed a challenge to the cooperative movement activists to identify new areas where nobody is playing a major role, with the education playing a bigger role, with people getting a lot of education in the rural areas, with skill development happening, and with some kind of corporate linkages also happening. So do you think that the market linkage is the last mile missing in the success of cooperatives in the new areas that the Prime Minister is talking about?
Yes, that is the point. You just see, there are new areas emerging with the advancement of technology. As you rightly mentioned, we are now having Israel technology in agriculture. What is that? In agriculture, they are producing much more. And there is a need for labor. And that is skilled labor. And then you have other cooperatives also where education and skill development can play a role. That can also be formed by the cooperative societies, and they can educate their children. Even the skill development centers can be run by the cooperative societies in the rural areas, so that they can enhance their income. Now the point is, as you have mentioned about the ill means have incorporated in this, that has to be corrected. Secondly, the market is linked. It is both. It is necessary for the agriculture farmer as well as the cooperative societies, because main point is that they are not getting the market. If they are getting the market, they throw away their goods. For example, if the cooperative societies of rural women producing their papad, masala and other items, but they are not finding their market in urban areas or anywhere else. If some buyers from the urban areas can be linked to that, their produce, they can pick up easily and marketability will be available to them. So that link is a missing link. That has to be identified. Marketing is more important in these things. So we have to marketing and technology.
You were in Ministry of Rural Development, and the Ajivika Mission, that was the program of your ministry, it is still being implemented. We have a successful movement of the self-help groups. That again is a kind of a cooperative movement only. And we have seen that 4 or 5 southern states like Tamil Nadu, Andhra, Telangana and Karnataka, they have done quite well in this movement and have done quite remarkably quite well here. Yes. But at the same time, we see that this very movement didn't spread to the northern parts of the country. So what was the lacking? Why didn't Bihar, Uttar Pradesh or Madhya Pradesh succeed in this movement?
It is a cause of worry for us also. We tried our level best. We should identify the areas. But it is a cultural gap, you can say. In the southern India, people are more cooperative based because they are not having sources. In northern India, they are having lands and other sources. So that is a big gap in that. Cooperative movement, you can say, in self-help groups, Andhra Pradesh is the leading state. And Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, even in Gujarat. These are the leading states in cooperative group housing societies. But in Bihar, Punjab and all this, it is not there. Because they have other sources and the rural folks, their landless people are not coming into that.
As Mr. Virdi has said that the financial support that the cooperatives should be provided, at the same time, while skilling is being done, that could be done through the cooperatives, market linkages should also be provided for the producers and the goods that they manufacture for the success of the cooperative movements. Mr. Virdi, thank you so much.
You were listening to a discussion on cooperative movement in India. The participants were M.S. Virdi, former advisor, Ministry of Rural Development, and Manish Anand, journalist. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of All India Radio. This program is also available on our website, newsonair.nic.in. You may email your opinion about this program at airnsttalks@gmail.com.